folks, historic. I have to eat my words. I had almost convinced myself and convinced a lot of people that Modi would not back down, but hey, he is full of surprises. But the question I have for you, has he hit a six? Or is it like everything is just an illusion? He's going to get caught out in the boundary. That I'll discuss tomorrow. I have my own views. But let's see what the papers are saying about this announcement he made. The day he picked was absolutely incredible. That was Gurpurab, since the Sikh community is the one that's been kind of leading this Andolan. But hey, it's in my view a little bit too late. There's a huge amount of trust to be bridged. National security issues, maybe he can overcome a little bit, because the global environment was turning tenuous for India, whether it's in the northeast, where it is in Pakistan, and Punjab would have been major security issue for India. But what do the papers say? Apology to countrymen. Couldn't convince a section of farmers on agri laws, will repeal all three, says PM. Gurpurab outreach will scrap in winter session. Granddad in UP mourns farmer killed in January 26th. Girl who tilled field will now return to college. A few steadfast protesters stayed put for over a year. No government will dare to bring reform. Seat sharing with BJP 110% on, says Captain. Now here I'm going to say it. I'm going to expand on this statement. Politics in Punjab, obviously a major hulchal is going to happen. And I think to a certain extent, the captain may be come out ahead. However, my view about sharing anything with the BJP at this time, otherwise their graph is on the downslope, including that of the Home Minister and the Prime Minister, will not be. You'll probably sync with them. Worry over Punjab unrest drove decision. Boost for Rahul line on street politics. So it's kind of all over the place, right? Commuters sense into their woes. Decade turned the tide with tears, grew in stature. Foot soldiers who stayed put in UP gate for a year. What do we have here? Jeet, Jalebi and joy after a year of agitation. A victory for democracy, says Kejriwal. Amid music and cheers, chorus at Singhu, give it to us in writing. All smiles at Tikri border. Farmers say they aren't going anywhere yet. Now that's like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? What else do we have here in times of India? We have nothing more. So that's field cleared, parties ready to till again. Defeat of arrogance, says opposition, seeks law on MSP. This is a sticking point. More than polls, threat to Punjab, reason to repeal. Wow factor for BJP in Jharkhand. I don't think so, folks. They're celebrating too early. Modi may change Punjab poll equations, and that's about the only thing I've seen, right? Senior ministers hail FPM's care for nations. Anandana. His senior ministers are a bunch of kiss asses. Whichever. Tomar till yesterday, I won't do anything. And maybe Gadkari was the only one who stood out. How cups have powered the stir for a year now. It is PM Modi's decision, no need to react to it, says Nitish. Nitish is about up a creek without a paddle. Now maximum push for minimum support. Protest to continue, says Kisan Netas. Reforms now could be of bits and pieces. Ticket ups ante on MSP, says it's too early to celebrate. I agree with him. We are farmers, not terrorists. Amid the joy of victory, a sense of loss and disruption. Can go back to studies now, like I said. So there's a whole bunch of stuff happening in the farmland. What does Indian Express say? Farmers reap, Modi climb down. And this is something very similar happening in New York Times, right? Accountant to farmer to event manager. The women and men who spent a year at Singhu. Sonia to Akhilesh. Stalin to Mamta. Victory for farmers. PMI on polls. In bearing farm laws, government may have held off demand for right to MSP, and I think everybody's seen through that. Khalistani Andolan GV, how government read it wrong, tries to lower Punjab heat. A tale of two rollbacks, land and farm laws, focus was outcome, not the process. Wow. It's kind of opposition doesn't tire of looting. Okay, they still carry on. Full year, half victory at Tikri, many farmers drowning in debt. Its cost we are ready to pay. At Ghazipur, which helped launch Ticket into limelight, crowd sparse but energetic. People who rose above religion, caste to fight one today, says Kejriwal. How protesting farmers were targets by government, says BJP, from house to street, how opposition amplified message. repeal unacceptable government stand in SC and Jain. RSS feared agitation was impacting social cohesion. In Lakhimpur, had this been done earlier, my father would be around. Gujarat may amend, here they go the kiss ass states, right? Gujarat may amend APMC Act, says Minister. What do we have here? 11 rounds of talks with farm leaders, but no headway. Some faces of the agitation. You have Sukhdev Singh, Kokali Khan, Jagmohan Singh. Around 150 FIRs against farmers in Haryana. Khattar hints at their withdrawal. Khattar was a way out on the limb on this one. After years at Singhu, farmer dies hours before announcement. It just goes on and on and on, right? And similar vein in Hindustan Times, all the way through, folks, all the way through. Wherever you look, it's about farm laws to go after years of protests. Unions cheer, but still want a law for MSP. Now that's where it's going to get hairy and scary, folks. Let me just say this. Joy at ground zero after 358 days. Kejriwal calls it victory for democracy. Okay, so this is basically what you can see from all the different papers and headlines, right? It's kind of different reporters reporting. It's a mixed bag. It's, in my view, it's a six caught out on the boundary. Cheers.
किसानों को समझने में कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ी। कानून के जिन प्रावधानों पर उन्हें ऐतराज था, उन्हें आज सरकार बदलने को तैयार हो गई। आज गुरु नानक देव जी का पवित्र पर्व है। ये समय किसी को दोष देने का नहीं है। इसलिए मैं आज पूरे देश को ये बताने आया हूँ कि हमने तीनों कृषि कानून वापस लेने का फैसला किया है। इस महीने हम कानूनों को वापस लेने की प्रक्रिया पूरी कर लेंगे। लेकिन राकेश टिकैत इतनी आसानी से कहां मानने वाले थे। उन्होंने फिलहाल आंदोलन वापस लेने से साफ इनकार कर दिया। जी हां, किसान संयुक्त मोर्चा के प्रवक्ता राकेश टिकैत ने कहा कि हम तुरंत आंदोलन वापस नहीं लेंगे, बल्कि इन्हें संसद में वापस लेने का इंतजार करेंगे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, 3 कानून नहीं, पहले आप इसको पार्लियामेंट में लेकर जाओ, वहां से इनको पास करवाओ। ये किसान बगैर सर पे टिकट लेकर नहीं जाएगा घर।
वहीं सभी विपक्षी पार्टियों ने भी इस फैसले पर सरकार पर निशाना साधा। राहुल गांधी ने ट्वीट करते हुए लिखा कि देश के अन्नदाता ने सत्याग्रह से अहंकार का सर झुका दिया। अन्याय के खिलाफ ये जीत मुबारक हो। वहीं कांग्रेस के महासचिव रणदीप सुरजेवाला ने मीडिया से कहा कि मोदी सरकार ने आज अपना अपराध स्वीकार किया है। अब जनता इस अपराध की सजा तय करेगी। इस फैसले के पीछे भाजपा का यूपी और पंजाब समेत 5 राज्यों में चुनाव हारने का डर साफ दिख रहा है। वहीं आम आदमी पार्टी ने कहा कि ये किसानों के अभियान की बड़ी जीत है। मोदी सरकार ने आगामी चुनाव में हार के डर से 3 काले कृषि कानून वापस लिए हैं। पीएम मोदी को उन किसानों के परिवार से माफी मांगनी चाहिए जिन्होंने न्याय की लड़ाई में अपनी जान गंवाई है। वहीं पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री अखिलेश यादव ने कहा कि अमीरों की भाजपा ने भूमि अधिग्रहण और काले कानूनों से गरीब किसानों को ठगना चाहा। कील लगाई, बाल खींचते कार्टून बनाए, जीप चढ़ाई, लेकिन सपा की पूर्वांचल की विजय रथ यात्रा के जन समर्थन से डरकर काले कानून वापस ले लिए। भाजपा बताए सैकड़ों किसानों की मौत के दोषियों को सजा कब मिलेगी।
Welcome, folks. A serious backdown for Prime Minister Modi. Has it affected his aura of invincibility? Absolutely. Who is it going to hurt the most, folks? Are his Andhbhakts who had been sold this lollipop that he will not back down to anybody. He will not back down to anybody. They did everything to sell his tomatoes, including people like, of course, the famous one, like the ones Times Now and famous Republic TV guy, what's his name, or whatever his name is, going on about Khalistanis and everything like that. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to turn 360 degrees now, but they have to, right? It's going to affect these Andhbhakts. You can see the tape that's coming up now, folks. That's the important part. His aura is being punctured. Democracy again comes out from outside the clouds. Good day for the citizens of India. Let's see how it goes. Is it a 6? Is it caught on the boundary line? Discussion tomorrow.
क्या किया मोदी जी? आपने कानून वापिस ले लिए। सुबह सुबह उठ के खबर सुनी मोदी जी देश को संबोधित करेंगे। कितनी उम्मीदें लगाई थी। लगा था कि आप कहेंगे कि आपने 200 करोड़ वैक्सीन लगा दी। हो सकता है आपने एक बार फिर पाकिस्तान के ऊपर एयर स्ट्राइक कर दी हो। इस बार तो सच में ये भी लगा था कि आपने चाइना के ऊपर एयर स्ट्राइक कर दी हो। लेकिन आपने तो हमारे ऊपर एयर स्ट्राइक कर दी मोदी जी। आप भी तो कहते थे ये असली किसान नहीं है, ये चंद मुट्ठी भर लोग हैं, मुट्ठी भर किसान है। असली किसान तो आपके साथ है मोदी जी, आपके साथ है। सबको पता था ये आतंकवादी, ये देशद्रोही, ये खालिस्तानी थे, ये तो कांग्रेसी थे। अब हम क्या कहेंगे मोदी जी? आप आतंकवादियों से हार गए, खालिस्तानियों के सामने झुक गए, कांग्रेसियों के सामने झुक गए मोदी। क्या मुंह दिखाऊंगा मोदी जी, ये बताओ। अपनी गली में मोहल्ले में उस ताऊ को फोन करके क्या कहूंगा? हम तो बड़ा बोलते थे मोदी नहीं मानने वाला, मोदी ने जो एक बार फैसला कर लिया मोदी वापस नहीं लेता, मोदी को कोई नहीं झुका सकता, दुनिया की कोई ताकत मोदी को नहीं झुका सकती। आप झुक गए। हमारे बारे में सोच लेते मोदी जी, आपकी मीडिया के बारे में सोच लेते। सुधीर चौधरी, अर्णब गोस्वामी, बेचारा अमीश देवगन, अब क्या मुंह दिखाएगा है? क्या क्या नहीं उन्होंने किया। इन 3 कृषि कानूनों का समर्थन करने में क्या हमने कोई कसर छोड़ी? हमने साबित कर दिया था कि ये आंदोलन सिर्फ एक जाति का है, ये सिर्फ एक धर्म का है। फिर भी आप, ये धोखा है मोदी जी, आपने हमारे साथ धोखा किया। मनोहर लाल खट्टर।
This I've been watching on TV. This back down by Modi on these farm laws is actually being celebrated by everybody, and jokes all over the place. I mean, jokes are making mockery out of our Prime Minister and his stance. Right? But this alone was never going to swing the votes for the BJP, because there is really serious anti-incumbency. Not only is there serious anti-incumbency, there is also a case of inflation. And that's Swaminathan, right? Who's afraid of inflation? Incumbent governments could suffer in the coming states assembly elections. He says, look beyond the conflicting signals of WPI and CPI. The most relevant measure in electoral terms is probably the RBI households inflation expectations. These show that since March 2021, citizens have expected double-digit inflation in the next 3 months and also 1 year ahead. This will surely carry political cost. Inflation alone will not determine the 2022 state elections, but expect incumbents, mostly the BJP, to fare much worse than in the state elections in the earlier year. Not only that, the earlier year still didn't have the second wave. This year, second wave, and Yogi has messed up UP, folks. Jai Hind.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी वो पार्टी नहीं रही जिसकी हम पहली पुरानी बातें करते हैं, और वर्तमान में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के तमाम क्षेत्र जितने भी थे अलग अलग राज्यों में, वो कहीं ना कहीं नतमस्तक होते थे दिल्ली के सामने। दिल्ली को पहली बार यदि कहीं से चैलेंज मिला या हुंकार सुनने को मिली, वो लखनऊ से है। इसलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी का भविष्य रेखांकित हो जाएगा जिस दिन टिकट फाइनल हो जाएंगे। विड्रॉल का डेट निकलने के बाद जो फाइनल सूची आएगी उससे पता पड़ेगा कि क्या होगा। ये गुजरात नहीं है कि आपने टिकट काट दिए 100 लोगों के और 100 लोग पूरी कैबिनेट घर भेज दिए और चुपचाप लोग बैठे। ये उत्तर प्रदेश है, यहां जिसका टिकट कटेगा वो अपनी न्यूसेंस वैल्यू देगा। यदि इतनी ही ये डिसिप्लिन पार्टी होती तो आज संघ से लेकर तमाम लोगों को लखनऊ के चक्कर काट।
तो आपको 2017 को पीछे छोड़ना होगा, आपको सिर्फ 2022 लेना होगा, और उसमें ये चीज तय करनी होगी कि भाजपा अब विपक्षी पार्टी नहीं है। भाजपा पर बहुत जबरदस्त सत्ता विरोधी लहर है, जबरदस्त एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है। हम इस एंटी इनकम्बेंसी को एकदम किनारे कर दे रहे हैं। जो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी भाजपा के साथ 2017 में नहीं थी। सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है।